Ladies and gentlemen, before you can attract unlimited wealth, you must first understand one thing: wealth is not just money. Wealth is a mindset, a way of thinking, a way of seeing the world. Some people wake up every morning with fear, with doubt, with worry, and they wonder why life keeps giving them more fear, more doubt, more worry. Others wake up with a vision, with courage, with determination, and life keeps giving them opportunities. The difference is not luck. The difference is how you train your mind. First, shift your mindset from scarcity to abundance. Most people are trapped in a scarcity mindset without even realizing it. They wake up every day with the same thought running through their heads. There's not enough. There's not enough money to pay the bills, not enough opportunities to get ahead, not enough time to do what they really want, not enough support from others, not enough luck. When you think this way, you start living your life in survival mode, and survival mode is the enemy of growth. When you believe there is not enough, you hold back, you hesitate, you play small, and you miss the opportunities that could change everything. You become like a farmer who refuses to plant seeds because he fears there won't be rain. So he ends up with an empty field, not because rain never came, but because he never dared to plant. Shifting from scarcity to abundance is the first and most powerful step toward attracting wealth, because everything begins in the mind. If you see the world as a place full of opportunities, you will behave differently. You will take chances that others avoid. You will share ideas instead of hiding them. You will collaborate instead of compete, and you will give instead of hoard. The truth is, there is more wealth in the world today than ever before in human history. The money has not disappeared. The opportunities have not vanished. They are just waiting for the people who are bold enough to see them. Think about this: every great business, every great invention, every great fortune started as nothing more than an idea in someone's mind. That person could have said, "It's too late, it's too risky, it's too hard." But instead they believed that there was more to gain than to lose. That mindset was the spark that changed their life, and often changed the lives of millions. When you train your mind to see abundance, you begin to notice doors that were invisible before. Suddenly, where others see a problem, you see a business opportunity. Where others see competition, you see potential partners. Where others see a dead end, you see a challenge to overcome. This mental shift does not happen overnight. It is like building a muscle. You have to consciously catch yourself every time you think small and replace that thought with one that empowers you. Instead of saying, "I can't afford this," start asking, "How can I afford this?" Instead of saying, "There are no opportunities in my city," start asking, "How can I create an opportunity from where I am?" These simple changes in language force your brain to look for solutions, and the brain always finds what it is trained to look for. Scarcity thinking keeps you in fear, and fear leads to inaction. Abundance thinking gives you courage, and courage leads to action. The wealthy are not necessarily smarter or luckier than everyone else. They are simply willing to think bigger and act on those thoughts even when they are scared. They know that money flows to people who create value, and value is created by those who refuse to see limits. Imagine two people standing in the same desert. One complains about the heat, the dryness, the emptiness. The other sees a perfect place to build a resort, drill for water, or set up solar panels. The desert is the same, but their mindset creates two completely different futures. This is why mindset is not a small thing. It is everything. The way you think decides the way you act, and the way you act decides the results you get. If you truly want to attract unlimited wealth, the first step is not to look at your bank account, but to look at your thoughts. Ask yourself daily, am I thinking like someone who is broke, or am I thinking like someone who is building wealth? The moment you begin to think in terms of possibilities instead of limits, the world starts opening up in ways that almost feel magical. Turn problems into opportunities. Most people spend their lives running away from problems, hiding from difficulties, and complaining about obstacles as if life is unfair to them. But here's the truth. Problems are not roadblocks meant to stop you. They are signals pointing you toward growth. Every problem you face is an invitation to think differently, to act boldly, and to rise to a higher level of creativity and strength. When most people see a problem, they immediately focus on what they are losing: time, money, comfort. And because they only see loss, they freeze, complain, or wait for someone else to fix it. But the people who attract wealth train their minds to see beyond the pain and look for the hidden reward. They ask powerful questions. What is this problem trying to teach me? How can I solve this in a way that benefits others? How can I turn this into something that works for me instead of against me? Those questions turn frustration into fuel, and fuel creates action. Think about every great business you know. At the root of its success was a problem that nobody was solving well. Someone saw a gap, an inefficiency, a frustration that people were dealing with every day, and instead of ignoring it, they built a solution. The bigger the problem, the bigger the opportunity. This is why some people become millionaires during a crisis while others become victims. When a crisis comes, most people focus on surviving, but wealth builders focus on creating. They know that chaos breaks the old systems and creates space for new ones. When everything seems to be falling apart, that is the perfect time to innovate, because people are desperately looking for solutions. Training your mind to see problems as opportunities is not about pretending that challenges are easy. Some problems will test you to your core, and some will make you want to quit. But the question you must keep asking yourself is, what if this is the very thing that will open the next door for me? That shift in perspective is powerful, because it takes you out of victim mode and puts you back in control. You stop waiting for someone to rescue you and start becoming the person who finds the answer. And the moment you find an answer that helps not just you but others as well, wealth begins to flow toward you naturally, because money follows value, and value is born out of solving real problems. Let's get practical. The next time you face a problem, a financial setback, a failed project, a broken relationship, or a business loss, pause before you complain. Write down every possible opportunity hidden inside that problem. Maybe losing your job is your chance to start the business you've been dreaming about. Maybe your financial stress is your wake-up call to finally learn how money works and build real wealth. Maybe a failed product is teaching you what your customers truly need, giving you the blueprint for the next successful launch. When you start thinking this way, you begin to feel empowered, because suddenly the problem is no longer your enemy. It is your training partner, sharpening your mind and building your resilience. Remember, the wealthiest people in the world are simply those who solve the most valuable problems. They didn't wait for perfect conditions. They didn't wait until they felt ready. They stepped into the storm, used the storm to grow, and came out stronger. The problems you are facing today may be the very problems that make you wealthy tomorrow, if you are willing to face them, learn from them, and create something out of them. When you stop running from problems and start running towards solutions, you become unstoppable. And opportunities start chasing you instead of you chasing them. Commit to lifelong learning. One of the greatest mistakes people make is thinking that learning ends when school ends. They graduate, they get a job, and they assume that everything they need to know is already in their head. But the truth is, the moment you stop learning, you stop growing. And when you stop growing, you stop attracting new opportunities. Life does not reward people who stay the same. It rewards those who adapt, those who expand their thinking, those who are hungry for knowledge every single day. The world is changing faster than ever before. Technology is evolving, industries are shifting, and what worked yesterday might not work tomorrow. If you want to attract unlimited wealth, you must train your mind to never stop learning, because wealth flows toward the people who know how to solve tomorrow's problems, not yesterday's. Think about it. The most successful people you admire are not the ones who were simply born with talent. They are the ones who worked relentlessly to develop themselves. They read books when others watch TV. They attended seminars when others stayed comfortable. They invested in coaches and mentors when others thought it was a waste of money. They understand that their mind is their greatest asset, and the sharper it becomes, the more opportunities it attracts. Knowledge is leverage. It multiplies the impact of everything you do. When you learn something new, you see opportunities others miss. You make decisions faster and smarter, and you create solutions that others can't even imagine. Committing to lifelong learning is not just about formal education. It is about cultivating curiosity. It is about developing the habit of asking, what can I learn from this? In every situation. Success leaves clues, and those clues are everywhere if you are paying attention. You can learn from the success of others, from their failures, from podcasts, videos, conversations, and experiences. Every person you meet knows something you don't know, and every challenge you face carries a lesson that can prepare you for the next level. But you have to be willing to humble yourself enough to keep learning. Too many people let their pride block them. They say, "I already know this," and they shut the door on the very information that could change their life. Lifelong learning also builds confidence. The more you know, the more capable you feel. When you understand your field, your industry, your craft deeply, you stop fearing competition because you know you have something valuable to offer. Confidence attracts opportunities, and opportunities create wealth. People are drawn to those who clearly know what they are doing. They trust them, they invest in them, they follow them. That trust becomes a bridge to greater success, and it all starts with the decision to never stop learning. And let's be clear, lifelong learning does not always feel comfortable. It often requires you to challenge old beliefs, to admit when you are wrong, to step into areas where you are a beginner again. But that is where the growth happens. You must be willing to look foolish for a while so that you can become wise later. You must be willing to read, listen, take notes, experiment, and sometimes fail, because every failure contains a lesson that brings you closer to mastery. When you decide to make learning a daily habit, you begin to see yourself transforming in ways that surprise even you. Your conversations become deeper, your thinking becomes sharper, and your actions become more strategic. And slowly, you begin to notice that you are no longer chasing wealth. Wealth begins to chase you because you have become the kind of person who creates value everywhere you go. This is why committing to lifelong learning is not optional if you want unlimited wealth. It is the fuel that powers every other principle of success. Discipline is the bridge between the life you dream about and the life you actually live. Most people think the gap between where they are and where they want to be is talent, luck, or connections. But the truth is, it is discipline. You can have the best ideas, the clearest vision, and the strongest desire for wealth. But if you lack discipline, nothing will change. Discipline is the ability to do what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. It is showing up when you are tired, working when you are uninspired, staying focused when distractions are calling your name. Wealth is not built in a single big moment of inspiration. It is built in the small, consistent choices you make every day, the ones nobody sees and nobody celebrates, but that compound over time into extraordinary results. Think about this. Everybody gets excited when they set a goal. Everyone feels motivated in the beginning, but motivation fades, and when it fades, most people stop. Discipline is what carries you when motivation is gone. Discipline says, I will stick to my plan even if I am bored, even if it is hard, even if nobody notices. Discipline is the reason some people rise while others stay stuck in the same place year after year. If you look at anyone who has built real wealth, you will see a pattern of discipline. They kept saving when others were spending. They kept learning when others were partying. They kept working when others were sleeping. That consistency created momentum, and that momentum attracted opportunities. Developing unshakable discipline starts with understanding your why. When you have a strong reason for what you do, discipline becomes easier because you are no longer just forcing yourself to act. You are driven by a purpose that pulls you forward. If your dream is to achieve financial freedom, remind yourself daily why that matters. Imagine the freedom of being able to take care of your family, the joy of building something meaningful, the pride of knowing you created your own success. When your why is clear, discipline becomes less of a punishment and more of a path to that dream. Another key to building discipline is creating routines and systems. Do not rely on willpower alone, because willpower is like a battery, it runs out. Instead, create habits that make the right actions automatic. Set a schedule for learning, for working, for saving, for creating, and stick to it until it becomes second nature. Protect your time like it is the most valuable resource you have, because it is. Every hour wasted on distractions is an hour stolen from your future wealth. Replace those hours with productive actions that move you closer to your goals. And let's be honest, discipline will not always feel good. There will be days when you want to quit, when progress feels slow, when nobody claps for your effort. This is the point where most people give up. But if you can push through that resistance, you are training your mind to become unstoppable. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your confidence grows. You begin to trust yourself more. You begin to see that you are capable of far more than you thought. And when you trust yourself, you stop doubting whether you can achieve your dreams. You know you can because you have proven it in the small battles you win daily. Discipline is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. And as it grows stronger, you start to experience a new level of freedom. Paradoxically, the more disciplined you are, the more control you gain over your life. You are no longer a slave to your emotions or your circumstances. You are in charge. This control is what allows you to create, to build, and to sustain wealth when it comes. Without discipline, even if you somehow attract wealth, you will lose it because you will lack the habits to manage and multiply it. With discipline, you not only create wealth, you protect it, grow it, and use it to create even more value for others. The people you spend your time with are either building your future or silently destroying it. Most people underestimate how much their environment shapes their destiny. You cannot expect to think big, act bold, and attract wealth if you spend all your time around people who are negative, small-minded, and stuck in mediocrity. Your mind is like fertile soil. Whatever seeds are planted in it will grow. If you surround yourself with people who constantly talk about problems, complain about life, and focus on what is wrong, those seeds of negativity will grow in you. Soon you will find yourself thinking the same way, doubting yourself, and believing that success is impossible. But when you choose to surround yourself with growth-oriented people, those who dream big, take action, encourage others, and focus on solutions, you begin to think differently. You start to believe in possibilities, you raise your standards, and you align yourself with an energy that attracts wealth. There is a saying that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. This is not just a clever quote, it is a reality. If you want to know your financial future, look at the mindset, habits, and results of the people closest to you. If they are constantly broke, always complaining about how unfair life is, blaming others for their situation, and making excuses for why they can't succeed, that energy will slowly become yours. But if you spend time with people who are striving, learning, growing, and pushing themselves forward, they will pull you up with them. Their habits will challenge your comfort zone. Their conversations will expand your thinking. Their results will make you believe that more is possible for you too. Surrounding yourself with growth-oriented people does not mean you need to abandon everyone in your life who is struggling. But it does mean you must be intentional about who influences your mind the most. You must protect your mental space as carefully as you protect your money. Choose to invest your time in people who inspire you, who make you want to become better, who call out your potential instead of feeding your fears. Spend time with mentors who have walked the path you want to walk. Learn from those who have achieved what you are working toward. Connect with peers who are as hungry for success as you are so that you can push each other forward when one of you feels like slowing down. And in the modern world, you do not even need to know these people personally to be influenced by them. You can read their books, listen to their podcasts, watch their interviews, follow their teachings. You can fill your mind with their ideas until their voices become louder than the voices of doubt and fear. This is how you change your mental environment, even if your physical environment is full of negativity. Over time, your thoughts will shift, your decisions will improve, and your actions will match the energy of the people you are learning from. Remember this, you cannot fly if you are surrounded by people who are committed to crawling. You cannot think like a creator if you are surrounded by people who only know how to complain. You cannot focus on building wealth if you are constantly distracted by people who are wasting their lives. If you are serious about attracting unlimited wealth, you must make the hard choice to distance yourself from environments that keep you small and move towards circles that force you to grow. And when you find those growth-oriented people, stay close to them, contribute to them, add value to them, because the right relationships will open doors you could never open alone. Everything that has ever been created, every invention, every building, every business, every piece of wealth, started as an idea in someone's mind. The ability to visualize your goals is one of the most powerful tools you have for creating the future you want. But visualization alone is not enough. You must pair that vision with action to bring it into reality. Too many people dream big but stop at the dream. They imagine the life they want, but they never take the first step toward it. Others take action, but they have no clear vision, so they are busy but not effective. They are running but not moving closer to what they truly want. The secret is to combine both, to see your future so clearly that it pulls you forward, and then to take focused, consistent action every single day until it becomes real. Visualization is not just daydreaming, it is mental training. When you visualize with intensity and detail, you are literally programming your brain to look for the opportunities, resources, and decisions that will get you there. High performers in every field use this technique. Athletes imagine every move before stepping into the arena. Entrepreneurs imagine what their business will look like 5 years from now before making a single hire. When you visualize clearly, your brain begins to believe that your dream is possible, and that belief gives you confidence to take bold action. Start by creating a vivid mental picture of your goal. If your dream is to build wealth, do not just say, "I want to be rich." Define what that means. See yourself living in the house you want, running the business you want, helping the people you want to help, enjoying the freedom you desire. Feel what it would be like to wake up every day without financial stress. Smell the leather of the car you want to drive. Hear the ocean if your dream is to own a beach house. Feel the weight of signing that first big deal. The more real it feels in your mind, the more driven you will be to make it happen. But visualization without action is just fantasy. After you see the goal, you must move toward it. Break it down into steps you can take today, this week, this month. If you want to start a business, maybe your first action is to research the market, or talk to someone who has already done it, or write down a list of ideas. If you want to be financially free, maybe your first step is to track where your money is going, read a book about investing, or set up a savings plan. The point is to turn the dream into movement, because every action you take builds momentum. And momentum makes the vision feel even more achievable. And yes, there will be moments when the vision feels far away, when your progress feels too slow. This is where you must hold the vision even tighter. Remind yourself daily of why you started. Review your goals every morning and every night. Keep a journal of small wins so you can see how far you've come. This mental discipline keeps your motivation alive during the hard seasons. Remember, the dream will not come to you. You must go to it step by step, day after day, until it becomes your reality. When you visualize and act consistently, something powerful happens. You begin to align your entire life with your goals. Your decisions become sharper, your habits become stronger, your focus becomes clearer. You stop wasting time on distractions because you know exactly what you are working toward. And over time, what was once just a picture in your mind becomes the life you are living, proving that the power of vision combined with action can turn imagination into unlimited wealth. Stay resilient when others quit. One of the hardest truths you will ever face is that the journey to wealth is not a straight, smooth road. It is full of detours, delays, disappointments, and moments when you will wonder if it is even worth it. This is where most people give up. Not because they are not capable, not because there are no opportunities, but because they lack resilience. They quit too soon. They let temporary pain convince them that their dream is impossible. But the ones who build lasting wealth, the ones who leave legacies, are those who refuse to quit. They stay in the game long enough for success to find them. Resilience is not just about surviving hard times. It is about using those hard times as fuel to grow stronger, wiser, and more determined. Every setback you face has two possible outcomes. It can either break you or build you. Resilient people choose to let it build them. They know that failure is not the opposite of success, it is a part of success. Every no you hear is preparing you for the yes that will change everything. Every closed door is redirecting you to a better one. Every painful season is forging your character so that when wealth comes, you will be ready to handle it. People who quit at the first sign of difficulty never get to experience this transformation. They stop just before the breakthrough, and they spend the rest of their lives wondering what could have been. Resilience is not something you are born with. It is something you train, just like a muscle. You build it every time you face fear and move forward anyway. You strengthen it every time you get knocked down and choose to stand back up. You sharpen it every time you face rejection and keep knocking on new doors. This is why resilience is such a powerful wealth magnet. Because most people will quit, which means that the field becomes less crowded for those who keep going. Persistence creates rare value, and rare value is what attracts abundance. There will be moments when you feel tired, when you feel like nobody understands, when you feel like you are working harder than everyone else and still not seeing results. This is the moment to remind yourself why you started. Go back to your vision, your why, your dream. Remind yourself that the pain you feel now is temporary, but the reward of staying the course is permanent. Tell yourself that you would rather struggle now for a few years to build the life you want than struggle for a lifetime because you gave up too soon. And as you stay resilient, something extraordinary happens. Life begins to respect your persistence. Opportunities that once seemed out of reach begin to open. People begin to notice your commitment and want to support you. The world has a way of rewarding those who refuse to quit. Your story becomes a beacon of hope for others, showing them what is possible when you stay the course. We have talked about shifting your mindset from scarcity to abundance, turning problems into opportunities, committing to lifelong learning, building unshakable discipline, surrounding yourself with growth-oriented people, visualizing and acting on your goals, and finally, staying resilient when others quit. Together, these are not just steps to wealth. They are a blueprint for transforming your entire life. Wealth is not just about money. It is about becoming the kind of person who can create, manage, and multiply opportunities. If you take these principles seriously and apply them, you will begin to see changes. First in the way you think, then in the way you act, and finally in the results you get. It will not be easy and it will not be instant, but it will be worth it. The life you dream about is waiting for you, but it will only reveal itself when you become the person who refuses to settle, refuses to quit, and refuses to live small. So train your mind, take consistent action, keep learning, stay disciplined, choose the right people, see the future clearly, and never give up no matter how hard it gets. Do this, and you will not just attract unlimited wealth, you will build a life that inspires everyone who comes after you.